Vlog time.
Day 3, vlog 3. We're over here in Town Center, man, up on the rooftop, top deck. We're gonna kick off this vlog, man. We got a special message for y'all today. Well, he's got a special message for y'all today. We're gonna talk about it, man. Let's get into it.
So a rough estimate, give me a rough estimate, Coley. On a daily basis, how much time do you think you spend on the internet from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep? I mean, internet in any form, social media, Amazon, web browser, whatever.
Somewhere in the realm of like 6 to 8 hours a day. The biggest source right now is Instagram. For me personally, for what we got going on for our platform is Instagram, and then YouTube. A lot of it is YouTube as well.
So that, I mean, that almost sounds absurd, spending 6 hours of your day on Instagram, right?
That's a work day.
Right, and you're scrolling your phone. So give me a pro, man. A lot of people can already say what the negative connotation with scrolling Instagram for 6 hours. What positives do you take from scrolling IG for 6 hours a day?
A big one, man, is just the ability to reach out and touch people in different areas, right? So like I was talking to someone last night from, they were from New Zealand, I believe. And he was a content creator out his way. He was kind of getting into daily vlogging, what we got going on, something similar. So we were just kind of sharing some tips and tricks and best practices and things like that. But that Instagram allowed me to touch someone on a different continent and just to see what they got going on, and it brings us all closer together. So if you have a niche, whether it be filmmaking, artistry, music, whatever, social media allows you to get in contact with other people in that group, in that niche, and collaborate.
And I agree with that too. So,
yeah.
I mean, if you have Instagram for a purpose, yeah, of course.
Right.
What are your negative connotations around your personal negative testimony about scrolling IG for 6 hours for you?
Personally, man, I mean, I know it's gotten me in some trouble a few times, whether it be in prior relationships, whether it be at my job, whether it be in social settings, while at dinner tables, restaurants, kind of things like that. When you're in a social setting or at your job or wherever, you're around people and this is what you're doing the whole time, you're kind of locked and trapped in your own little world on your phone, right? And that creates bad habits, and it creates a whole slew of other, you know what I'm saying? It creates mental health issues for the kids coming up. All these kids have anxiety and depression and all this other stuff, and a lot of it kind of stems down and boils into all the time spent on their phone and the lack of time spent with real human interaction face to face. That's a big kind of negative, I think, for social media. So from a creative standpoint, what do you think some of the pros are of social media?
So from a creative standpoint, I think some of the pros, are definitely a lot of pros of social media and the internet is exposure, allowing the consumer to actually have access to artists and creators that otherwise they would not be privileged to. Like for an example, in the music industry, let's say 15 years ago, for an underground rapper to get put on, he would have to go record a demo tape, package it up, send it to the all white man at the Def Jam offices and hope somebody says, hey bro, I like your tape, come up to the office, let me sign you. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have your SoundClouds, we didn't have your Instagram where you could just post your YouTube and shit like that. So now those same underground rappers back then who were dependent upon somebody else saying, yo, I like it, let me sign you, now you can do it yourself. So the pro with that is, you know, a lot of creators, dope creators, people who I think the world needs to hear, we can now hear them if we search for them through these platforms, through your IGs, through your Twitters, your, you know, etc., so on and so forth. But the con with that is now everybody can do it.
What's wrong with that?
So let's take it back again. 15 years ago, you know, those people who, we all know somebody who shouldn't be creating, right? We know somebody who says they're a photographer, but their photos suck. or they say they're a rapper, but their shit sucks. You know what I mean? We all know that one person who shouldn't be doing, they have the drive and the motive, they just not good. You know what I mean? We know that. We all know somebody like that. So back in the day, if you sent that shitty rapper, if he sent this demo tape up to the Def Jam offices, it's like, yo, I need somebody to sign me. The A&R Def Jam is gonna say, no, you're trash, and throw your tape out the window. It almost acted as like a form of quality control back in the day. Now, that same shitty rapper, or that same shitty whatever creator, if somebody tells them no, they can just do it themselves. They can upload that shitty content to Instagram, or they can upload that shitty content to YouTube.
What type of feedback do you think that they typically receive, and where's it coming from?
Because that's a good question. This is the thing that actually baffles me. I honestly don't think that they know that their shit is shitty. Nobody's in their corner telling them no. Nobody's saying no, re-record that, reshoot that photo, redo that, re-edit. Nobody's telling them that, because they can just upload it and do it themselves. Mm-hmm. They don't have any comparison to quality. You get what I mean? So 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when I wanted to rap, I had to compare myself to the guys that were actually on, that were rapping. You had your DMXs, your Jay-Z's, your Nas's, your Juveniles, your Lil Wayne's. That was the bar. You had to compare yourself to them. We had something to gauge then, whether my shit was hot or not. Damn, my shit don't sound like that. But now, since everybody's doing it themselves, the abundance of mediocrity and shitty content is everywhere. So when that guy uploads his shit, he's saying, well shit, my shit sounds like that. The people that they're comparing themselves to, that they're gauging from, is just other shitty content. It all meshes into one, and I sound like the next shitty guy, so I must be doing something right. You know what I mean? So I think that level of what's the word I'm looking for?
Self-awareness?
Well,
does it tie in?
I think self-awareness does, but it's not their fault for not having the self-awareness because of the climate that they grow up in, right? Like I said, so back in the day with no internet, we had a form of quality control. Mm-hmm. You couldn't get a record deal unless you were good, because Def Jam offices weren't gonna sign you unless you were good. So that was the quality control. So that was the bar that was set. The goal was to be on Def Jam and be rich. In order to be on Def Jam and be rich, you had to have quality. And Def Jam and the record labels were the standard. That was the status quo on what was hot and what was not back then. Everybody had this goal that they wanted to achieve, which was Def Jam. And the way to do it, you had to impress them, which means if you want to impress somebody, you got to be good. And Def Jam standards were high. And any other record label, they were high back then. Now, there's nobody telling you that, no, you can't do it. They don't have to go off of anybody's standards. So I think the standards, just as a whole, have come down in the climate. So I think the internet has done that because it's given everybody a platform. So people who are shitty, people who aren't as talented, say, fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway, because the climate is so desensitized now. Mediocrity is now sounds like the norm. So mediocrity now sounds great. It's almost not their fault, you get what I mean? Because that's the climate that they're bred in this generation. But since the older generation knows better, that's that disconnect, and then we come off as old and bitter. Oh, he's old and bitter, or he can't get with the new wave. It's not about we can't get with the new wave. We could get with the new wave. You just have to do it at a high quality level, because that's how we were structured. I'm sure you've heard new music, new school music that has a new school wave and sound and feel, and is executed very well at a high level. And you're like, yo, I can dig that. It's a tricky area, man. I think the internet is great though. My rant is, I think the internet is great because it allows people to have a platform. People that really truly deserve a platform now can have a platform, and there's nobody that's gonna tell them no. The only thing is, you're now in the same competition, you're in the same ranks as a lot of other bullshit. It's hard to filter through, and that's give or take. But I mean, the cream always rises to the top. Like, no matter what field you're in, music, movies, athletics, like, the cream always rises to the top. The elites in any field are always the greatest. Mm-hmm. My field is music in urban culture and creativity, so that's what I'm gonna speak on. In music, the elites, Kendrick, Cole, Drake, Royce, Dave East, Big Sean, like, the elites are great. And they're gonna be here for a while because they're of quality. Quality stands the test of time. The mediocrity is what's popular, but it's gonna fizzle out. You get what I mean? So to recap, man, the internet's not a bad thing. The internet it's a great thing. It's a great tool for creators. I mean, everybody alike. You know what I mean? Just, you kind of have to find your purpose with the internet. Don't let the internet take you down a rabbit hole to the point where you get lost, to the point where you're trying to live somebody else's life, to the point where you get depressed, to the point where you're mentally unstable. You find yourself fiending for likes, or you find yourself fiending for approval by others. You know, this girl got 1,000 likes, 1,500 likes, and I only got 30. I got to take down my picture. I got to repost it. Don't find yourself in that rabbit hole. Like I said, the internet is a great tool. Find your niche. For us, we're creators. It allows us to create. It allows us to show off our creation, and it also allows us to network and connect with other creators alike. That's our niche for the internet. Find yours.
Oh yeah, we forgotten now. Let's go see the town, man.
Good vibration.